Hey everyone! Before we start, let's first talk about Rengar's items and runes. And the first item that I would get on him would be Trinity Force. The reason why I would go for Triforce is that it gives us the best stats in order to carry the game. But, if you're behind or you need a front line, you could go for the Divine Sunder instead. Next item that I would go for is Solari Charge Blade, another key item for Rengar in order to burst your opponents. He could easily proc the passive, which is the Sunburst, get attack speed, and even critical strike, which we would be able to use later on. After this item, we could go for the Steel-Plated Stasis. Another alternative would be the Gargoyle Enchant, but I would rather get the Stasis in order to buy time for my team. Then we go for the Bloodthirster. Bloodthirster is another key item for Rengar. Not only does it help us get lifesteal, it also increases our damage and our crit rate, allowing us to be able to burst through squishy targets. Alternative for this would be Infinity Edge, but you would only want to go for the Infinity Edge if you're ahead in the game and you would want to have a one-shot, one-touch. Next would be the Guardian Angel. So really good item just in case we get caught out or we get bursted, we have another life. But if you're confident in your skill, you could go for the Infinity Edge instead. Last item is very flexible, it depends on what you want. You could go for the Infinity Edge if you would want more crit, or you could go for the Mortal Reminder if they are very tanky. So that is it for Rengar's items. Going to the runes, first rune that I would go for is Conqueror. Really great rune. Not only does it give us more damage, it also gives us lifesteal for us to be able to be more sustainable in fights. Next rune that we would go for is Triumph. This helps us get our HP back, as well as increase our burst damage, especially when the opponents are low on HP. Third rune that we would go for is Hunter Titan. Gives us HP and tenacity just in case we get caught out. But an alternative for this would be Bone Plating to make us a bit more tankier when we get into team fights, or even Nullifying Orb since we're building AD heavy items. Last rune that I would go for is Hunter Genius. Since CDR is important on Rengar, we would always want to have our skills up, especially our ultimate, and this would be helpful in keeping our skills low on cooldown. But an alternative for this would be Pathfinder, another great rune. It makes your roam faster. In the end, it's up to you on what you would want to go for. So that is it for Rengar's items and runes, and I would see you guys in game.
Giveaway winners of the week.
Going to the game, this is where I will show you the potential of Rengar jungle right now, as well as how you would be able to carry losing lanes. In this matchup, we are currently up against Lee Sin, and in a Rengar versus Lee Sin matchup, it's pretty even, and it would depend who's able to get the initiate. So if Lee Sin gets the initiate onto us, then he would have the advantage. Likewise, if I'm able to get initiate onto Lee Sin, then I would have the advantage. So now I go for the side bush. I put a control ward down, just in case they would want to go for a level 1 invade, and it's something that allows me to know where their jungler might possibly be. Then the clear that I do here is the red side clear, where I go for my red buff, rugs, raptor, then flex, depending on where or what happens on the map. So when clearing your jungle, you would always want to auto-attack before using your first skill. That way you're able to cancel animation your auto-attack, and it would help your clear become a bit faster. And another tip is always jump from the bush, going to the buff or camp. This would help you get your stacks faster and would make your clear much more efficient as well. So after clearing the Krugs, I look at the state of the map. Checking our Baron lane, pretty much even. Mid lane, pretty much even. Our duo bot is struggling because the matchup is a bit hard. So it would be hard to gank that lane, especially when I'm not yet level 5. So most likely, after clearing the Raptors, I would go for the bot scut instead of the top scut, wherein on the bot scut, the lanes are not that difficult. They're not having a hard time. Because if I went for the top scut and Lee Sin's there, most likely I would be able to secure the scuttler. So once the scuttle spawns, I immediately burst it down. Even though I don't know where the Lee Sin is, I try to take the scut before going for the gank. Lee Sin shows up, but it's too late. Rengar's scuttle take is a bit fast. Then we go for a bot gank. PR is a bit extended. Riven plays a bit too greedy. She goes in before I'm able to set up the gank and gets punished for it. So a bit of a miscommunication. Riven plays it really bad. Fiora lives with 1 HP, unlucky. I should have went for the empowered second skill instead of the empowered first, because if I went for the auto attack plus empowered second, I would have been able to take down Fiora, but it happens. Then Lee Sin gets another gank on the mid side. Galio tries to buy time. Hopefully he's able to escape. Yes, Lee Sin goes away. Galio has about half HP and gets a cinch as well. So that's a really good use for us, even though the opponent was able to get first blood. Now I go and clear my top side, get level 5. Once I get my 5, instead of going for the blue buff, I go and look for a top side play. Thresh Lucian, much extended. I would want to make a play here. Once the hook hits, I immediately cast my ultimate, look for the punish. I jump onto the Thresh, get my empowered Q in, chase down the Lucian, want to force his flash, but Lee Sin is behind, so I just go back instead and not allow the opponents to get a counter kill. So we are able to not only get a kill, but we're also able to help our duo lane remove some pressure from the duo lane. Now I go back to my own jungle, get my farm. I see an arrow going bot side. I don't know where it's going. Most likely it wouldn't hit anyone. Wasted skill, but it's okay. So the next thing that I would want to do here is try to get my Triforce as much as possible, because it's a huge power spike once I'm able to complete my Triforce. So when I have my Triforce, I'm able to get more kills, and with getting kills, I'm able to get trophies, which would make my damage and burst a lot higher. Riven does an all-in to Fiora even though she's low, gets outplayed, goes down again, and that is not good news for us, especially if we're against a Fiora who would be able to snowball the game via split push. So not really great, but it's something that we could possibly make a solution out of. So I go for my bot clear. Our duo bot not playing the best right now. They got taken down as well. So we have two losing lanes, which is the Baron lane as well as our Dragon lane. They're having a hard time. Mid lane is kind of a 50-50 matchup. Galio's doing decent. And then I see that they're extended again. I use my ultimate, wait for the punish. Arrow hits. Force the Thresh flash. I'm not able to chase him anymore, so I just go back instead. I think it's warded. Yep, the bush is warded because the cannons are able to see me. We force Thresh flash, which is good because when I have my ulti, most likely I would be able to punish the Thresh. So now I have my Triforce at the 440 mark, which is really good timing. As much as possible, you would always want to complete your Triforce before the first objective, since it would give you a huge power spike. So another gank onto bot side. Lee Sin tries to snowball the game by putting down our Riven. I clear my Krugs, look for the Lee Sin. I see him that he recalls. We force the kick, which is really good because he wouldn't have the ultimate anymore when the objective spawn. So now I check what's happening on the map. I know that Lee Sin will be late into the Dragon, and I know that I don't have bot priority. So what I do here is I try to sneak Herald and try to get this as fast as possible, because looking at the top side, Ashe is already getting destroyed by their duo bot. Our Baron lane dies as well, which is not good news. Fiora's getting plates. I try to protect the bot. Our Galio Lulu was able to get a counter kill. They take down the Thresh. Fiora plays a bit greedy. We try to go for the chase. Parry, first kill, auto, and we take her down with... Luckily, we burn her flash as well. Then I use my Rift Herald. Even though they're able to get Infernal Dragon, at least I was able to make a trade. So looking at the top side, they're able to take down the Singed and Lucian as well, which is decent. Plating will fall. I had to flash out because Lee Sin would take me down. Lee Sin suddenly goes for the kick flash, but it's a very big mistake. We outplay him and get the kill instead. So Rengar, as you could see, Rengar's damage is really strong. When I had my Triforce, even though I was at half HP, we were able to take down the opposing Lee Sin. Now I check what I should do next. I try to farm my camps, and one thing about Rengar is that you would always want to gank when your ulti is up. That way, you would be able to be as efficient as possible. Another all-in on the bot side. I immediately go bot, try to help the Riven, but it was too late. I think our Riven is playing too greedy, and hopefully their Fiora doesn't snowball much. She overextends again, doesn't respect the Rengar. I wait for the parry to get removed and go for the punish. Singe comes for the gank. I'm pretty low and I disengage. I could have went for the all-in onto Singe, but it's a bit risky. He might have spells, so I decide to play it a bit safe and go back. At least we're able to get another counter kill on Fiora. So even though our Riven is dying, what's happening is that Riven's bounty is getting lower, but we're getting kills plus assists, which overall would help us be able to get more gold and give us more resources to carry the game. So our duo bot, Galio does a great ultimate helping our team. In fairness, our bot is, even though they're struggling, Galio's doing a great work into helping remove the pressure as well. So what I'm doing is I'm camping Baron lane because I know that Fiora is very aggressive and it's something that I would want to punish. So people usually say that you never want to gank losing lanes, but when you're in this position, when you have a lot of money, I'm currently 4-0, I'm able to get a lot of plates. This is when you would be able to gank losing lane. So I know that Fiora wants to queue in. Once the all-in is started, wait for the parry, then I use all of my skills. We help Riven get the kill as well as get the tower gold. So that's another good thing when you're camping losing lanes is that you know the opponents will become aggressive because they know that they could all in my teammates. And that's when we go for the punish. I immediately go top. I see that the opposing team, they're making a counter play top. Galio buys a lot of time for me. Once I have my ultimate, I immediately go to Cinch. We take him down. I should have went for the second skill, empowered second skill to cancel the Thresh hook. I had to waste my flash there. And once Thresh uses the ultimate, I go back. Lulu plays a bit greedy. I wouldn't be able to help because I know in that position, there's no bush and I would get kited. Fiora gets another kill mid as well, which is not the best because they're also able to get kills across the map. So the Herald is spawning in 15 seconds. I'm thinking whether I should go for the contest or I should just farm my lane. What I do here is I buy my stasis, then check on what possibilities that could happen. So looking at the state of the game, all of my teammates have their ultimate, and I would go for the contest. Triforce, Charge Blade, Zonya, 3 big items in order to deal damage as well as survive team fights. I was a bit late. I have my ultimate, but I don't want to jump in because I know when I jump in, Singe is gonna fling me. I get flayed, I get destroyed, and mostly I have all of the damage. So what I do here is I just play a bit safe. We force the Singe ultimate and go back. So when you have all of the gold in your team, you wouldn't want to be first in a fight because you know all of the damage is with your champion. So if I went in, even though if I get a good initiate, but if I trade my life, it wouldn't be worth, and most likely we would lose the team fight. So instead of trying to force a fight, I decided to play a bit safe. And now, what I'm doing is checking where I could go. Dragon is spawning 20 seconds. I don't think that we're confident enough. Fiora goes for a greed, tries to take down the tower. Even though she takes down the tower, this is perfect timing because Dragon would be spawning in 10 seconds and I do not want to, as much as possible, I don't want to give the opponents dragons. So now our opponents are making a crossplay top. They take down the tower. They're a bit disconnected. We go for the catch onto the Lee Sin. We take him down. It's a 4v5 because if you noticed earlier, Fiora, we took down their Fiora. I was super slowed because of the Thresh ultimate as well as the Singe second skill. I couldn't jump. If I had flash, I would have been able to flash in the bush and get more kills. But it's okay. We take down the dragon, which is big. Now we're tied 1-1 dragon. And we prevent the opposing team from snowballing their infernal dragon. So good gank, good catch for Galio getting their Lucian. And even though our Baron lane and duo lanes are behind, we have a lot of money and we're placed in a position that we could carry the game. If you look at our gold, currently at 10k, currently the richest man right now, and it's something that I wouldn't want to give away. So not only if I die, not only do I give a streak, I also give out tempo and help the opposing team snowball the game. So the most important thing right now for me is to not die in fight. So that's why I bought the Zonyas. I have flash and I wouldn't go in unless I'm super confident that we would win the fight. So back to clearing my camps. I look for any extended lanes. Riven is at bot side. What I'm looking for is a bot. Thresh goes for the hook We try to go for the Lee Sin, 1 HP. We burst him down. See how strong my burst is right now. Fiora behind us. I had to flash because I needed to dodge the Singe Fling. Riven goes in the side lane. Go inside the bush. Look for someone to jump on, but the opponents are able to disengage. Overall, I think that was a good trade. Support for their Baron lane plus Lee Sin. We stopped their snowball. Fiora is... Even though Fiora was able to get a lot of kills, when it comes to the team fights, she has a harder time, and we're placed in a position to punish her. Because Rengar is really good against split pushers because of the use of the ultimate. Because even though the opponent have wards, I can just bypass all of them by using my ult. So when playing Rengar, the most important tip when playing Rengar is to get your stacks as much as possible. Because Rengar's passive, the more stacks you have, the more damage that you get. So how do you get Rengar stacks is when you get takedowns on the enemy champion. So you need to take down the enemy champions by a kill or assist at least once. So it's if you are able to get an assist on all of the champions, then you would have max stacks. So 1 stack per champion with a maximum of 5 stacks. So once the scuttler spawned, I was just waiting for it. What I'm doing right now is I'm trying to farm my Guardian Angel. This way, this would allow me to play more aggressive, and even though I'm placed in a bad position, not only would I have my stasis, I would also have my Guardian Angel to buy time for my team. So I pinged the Fiora, overextended, but I see that the Riven is at bot side. So if I try to force the fight, I know that we would be placed in a disadvantage, and I just use my ultimate for vision. So I know where they most probably might be. So Lucian Thresh, I try to scare the Lucian. We force the exhaust, and I'm pretty happy with the result because Lucian has no exhaust once it comes to the next fight. So I recall by my items, I look for what camps I could get, and while I'm clearing my camps, the number one thing that I'm looking for is trying to catch their side lane. So top side lane, there's no one available. Bot side lane, Fiora is there, and that's the plan, to use my ultimate to go and gank the bot side. So I don't have my ultimate yet, so I just go try to steal their blue, go for the jump plus smite. I immediately go back because I know that the backup of the opponents are there. Vision complete. I don't want to play too greedy. I use my ultimate, try to look for someone out of position. Fiora at the bot side, Lee Sin's TPing. I know that I see that Sin is on the top, so I try to go for the punish. Arrow connects, but Fiora is a bit too far. I wouldn't be able to follow up properly. And once I see that Lee Sin and Fiora have been chunked a bit, I try to ping the Baron. I want to start it. We might be able to get a sneak Baron, unless it's warded. So my teammates are able to assist me. But the moment I see Thresh, I decide to go back because we have no vision on where the opposing team might be. And that's a potential to throw the game. So if we try to force Baron there and the opponents are able to secure or win the team fight, then it would spell game over. So played it a bit safe instead. Dragon is spawning in 15 seconds. I'm clearing my camps before going back. So because I would want to have as much items as possible. BF Sword Chain Vest, really good. Allows me to be a bit more tankier as well as have more damage. So when the dragon spawns, I'm a bit late. I'm forced to use my ultimate. Really long, even though it was nerfed from 20 to 16 seconds, it's still a lot. I see that Thresh is isolated. I go for the Fiora instead. I see her on the mid side trying to clear. Great arrow from Ashe. We go for the punish. We take down the Fiora. Once Fiora goes down, I use my stasis to play a bit safe. Go for the Singe. Lulu gets an ulti onto me. Galio E-flash. I catch Lucian's ulti. A bit painful. I'm forced to back away, but overall, it's a 1-for-2 exchange in favor of us. So I tell my team to recall and heal because we have the numbers advantage, and it allows me to get my HP back. So once I get my regen, I go for the dragon. I still have my ulti just in case they would want to go for the contest. I think the opponents decide not to contest because they're a bit low. We see Lee Sin, and we're able to get 2 dragons, which is very good. I think we secured the ocean plus mountain. I try to look for the punish on the Lee Sin. At this point, I would be able to one-shot him, assuming I get crits on my first kill. He's able to recall safely, and I push the top side instead. So now what I'm doing is trying to finish my Guardian Angel and telling my team to play a bit safe because we don't have any vision of them right now. I clear my wolves. I haven't checked my stacks yet, but if I'm not mistaken, I have already gotten everyone's stack except Lucian. Thresh tries to go for a catch. I play a side lane. Galio started in position. That's why I don't want to engage. Try to poke them a bit. I see that Scuttle is up. A bit too late. I'm trying to look for a farm, but I see that Riven engages. I use my ultimate. We punish the Singe down. I jump into the Lucian. Look at my damage, half HP, and only my QW just hit. So we force the Lucian back. I ping Baron because it might be a good time to get it because their Baron lane is down, their Lucian is low, and our Baron take is a bit quite fast with the Triforce charge rate that I have. So once I see that they try to go for the contest, immediately go for the turn. Great kick by Lee Sin. My teammates want to force into finishing Baron. Go for the 50-50. Luckily we win. We take down Lee Sin as well. I see that Fiora Lucian out of position. I have my passive to jump, take down the Lucian, hit our stasis, and we get a lot of kills. So that's a really good team fight. Very clean. Not only do we get Baron, we also get the ace, and most likely we would be able to end the game. With Singed, the only one defending, they're forced to surrender, and we get the win. So really good gameplay. No throws. We didn't give them any kills, and we were able to prevent the snowball from happening onto our Baron lane as well as the duo lane, which were both losing lanes. So we honor everyone because they did well. We get MVP. Most damage dealt. Huge props to Galio for the response as well. Really great game from him. Ash with the clutch arrows, and that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out. Ciao, ciao.
I'm finally facing it all, fearless.